Welcome back to Listen St. Louis with Carol Daniel on 9 PBS. Clarity, understanding, and empathy. Common values for those on the front lines charting a bold way forward for African Americans in St. Louis. Stay tuned as we talk to these changemakers, visionaries, and overcomers. I'll ask the questions you want to hear and get the clarity we all need about the issues we face. That's next on Listen St. Louis with Carol Daniel on 9 PBS. It was Nelson Mandela who once said, "I never lose. Either I win or I learn." That could be the theme of Chef Queenie's trauma-filled life. Coming up next, Chef Queenie explains why, as a child, she first ventured into a kitchen and began to cook, and how abuse and neglect led her to learn how to grow her own food. That's next on Listen St. Louis with Carol Daniel on 9 PBS.
Listen St. Louis with Carol Daniel is supported in part by Midwest Bank Center, Orvin and Latrice Kimbrough, the Betsy and Thomas Patterson Foundation, and the St. Louis Development Corporation.
Welcome back to another episode of Listen St. Louis with Carol Daniel. Thank you so much for rocking and rolling with us for now 2 seasons. I love to say it, 2 seasons of this Emmy-nominated show. Well, joining us today is a chef, farmer, and community activist. Now, how did it get started in the first place? And what does the future hold for Queenie? Chef Queenie! She's got the hat on and everything. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I am so happy to meet you because I still get excited every time I hear about farming in the city of St. Louis.
It is something that kind of fell in my lap. I just be minding my business at home, canning, making homemade bread. And what I found is, as I went through Urban Harvest to just learn more about farming and gardening because I'm self-taught. So I taught myself everything from food to gardening to canning. And I'm like, I just wanted to know more. So as I went through with Urban Harvest, I felt even more in love with gardening and farming. And I started meeting all of these urban farms from the city all the way out to Spanish Lake. And what happened was they had all this overflowing produce and didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
And I was like, I'm a small business owner. I know what to do with this.
You had a vision right away.
So I started making my own homemade barbecue sauce and truffle oils and jams and jellies out of the products that they just had a lot of. And in the midst of that, I found my people. I found my community.
We will go back to the beginning, as we should, with your activism and your career. It stands on the foundation of your experience in childhood. How did poverty play a role in the cooking and the chef we see today and the businesswoman we see today?
So crazy because I didn't grow up thinking I wanted to be a chef.
Right.
I grew up with the mind frame that I wanted to be first lady of the church with my hat and leading the women of the church. That's really what I thought.
A noble goal.
That's really all I wanted. And what happened was my mom, Queenie, I'm named after her. My mother was out on drugs. It's the 80s, you know what I mean? Crack is sweeping through the community, and my mom happened to be a victim of that. And so within that, a lot of the time she wasn't home, and it was just me and my siblings. And I started to have to use pantry food. The Salvation Army would drop off food. I learned how to go through the phone books and call churches and say, hey, my mom's not here, but we need something to eat.
And how old are you at this?
At this time, I'm probably like 9, 10 years old.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, 9, 10 years old. And I'm experiencing, like, how are we going to eat? And I remember making rice, and it was hard. I mean, we still ate it because we were hungry, but I didn't know how to cook. But what happened was I started taking all of these pantry and free items, and I started turning them into dishes that me and my siblings would eat. One time in particular, we didn't have enough cheese, but we love macaroni. And I had the bright idea to add peanut butter because we had a lot of that. You get a lot of peanut butter in pantry.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of that, and I stretched that, and we ate it, and it was good. And so for me,
were you reading books? You say you're self-taught, But what foundation did you learn how to add sugar and flour and baking soda? I mean, how did you get to that point?
I was hungry.
You were hungry.
I was hungry. When people ask me why I chef, why I cook, I was hungry. I didn't read a book. I do remember watching this chef in between when we would have cable, and even on PBS. I remember cooking shows growing up, and I might have seen little things like that. But I feel like I was just made with this gift. Like I still to this day, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around it. But you could put whatever in front of me and I can make a meal for you.
My goodness. And are you the oldest? Is that why you took this lead or no?
I'm not the oldest. My oldest brother is Fred, and he had a disability. So a lot of the times he couldn't walk properly and do things. I kind of looked after him. In a sense. And
you became the caregiver.
Yeah, I just became the caregiver. And because I am just a natural leader, I think that was just something that just happened naturally. I'm just now realizing how powerful I am as a leader and as a speaker.
Goodness. I am a woman who does not believe in hiding one's age as a woman. And I would just say that you're in your 40s and you're just now realizing.
I'm just now realizing like this life that I had that so many people were like putting in a box or moving to the corner. I didn't realize like that was something magical. I didn't realize that I was this leader. And now being 42 and proud.
And looking good.
Why, thank you. Being 42, I am realizing like, Queenie, there is a light in you that the world deserves to see.
I love this.
And while you sitting here in your garden and you're preserving and cooking and taking care of your baby, there is a community that deserves you. And I didn't...
And needs you.
Oh, definitely.
The world needs light. The world has always needed light, and it needs it today just like it needed it 100 years ago.
Man, and I didn't know my light was so light that it was touching people.
And can I ask you too, or just make the observation,
Yes.
I think, that the desire to be a first lady and the knowledge that you have a light that must shine are one and the same, if you ask me.
Yes, indeed.
It comes from a similar place.
It does. It does. I feel like I was just birthed to be this woman who is supposed to bring us back. Let's remember the canning. Let's remember sitting at the table, eating. Let's remember the slips under the dresses. Let's bring the etiquette and the coof back to where it actually belongs.
Grace and
yes,
all of it.
Yes. So for me, I feel like in this journey of just living in St. Louis for the last 20 years, that I feel like it's my calling to pick that ball up and introduce it to our new generation.
So when did you shift from simply feeding your siblings to actually thinking this is a career for me? Did that just happen?
I would say about 3 years ago.
It just happened.
Yeah, about 3 years ago, I got to the point where friends of friends were like, Queenie, would you cater this fundraiser? Queenie, can you cook this? Or Queenie, can you make this? And I'm like, okay, it's just food, no problem. And we're just doing it just naturally. It wasn't probably until last year I actually started looking at it like really serious. I had pulled up my Square report and was like, you made $4,000 that year. And I mean, to everyone else, it's like, yeah. But for me, it was like, and I'm just doing what I love. So I've had people on the outside that are looking at me and say, Queenie, it's time for you to jump, my love. And for me,
I love that.
I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I didn't expect to even be out here in this capacity, let alone it's time for me to jump.
I promise you I have a yellow sticky note on my desk that asks the question, when was the last time you jumped?
And I'm a systematic girl. I like everything to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And
so jumping can be a little unnerving for that person.
Especially coming from the background that I have of not trusting, growing up, being adopted, moving from Davenport, Iowa to Mexico, Missouri, population 11,000. Shout out to my hometown. Chef Queenie is here, y'all.
Hey.
And I just feel like it's just a part of all the things that make me up. And people always say, well, where you come from? And I'm like, Iowa, Mexico, Missouri. I grew up in the Quad Cities, so I was born in Moline, Illinois. So it's just like who I am and how I came to this place of just living in poverty, going from poverty, unstable home, no daddy in the home, Found my dad on MySpace, but that's a whole nother thing. Never knew who this man was. Found
Come
him on
back
MySpace.
for part 2, people.
Yeah, part 2. Okay, that's a whole nother thing. And it just made me who I am today. And I used to cry about not having the family that I wanted when I grew up. I find myself trying to insert in other families, and I realized that I am the family. Me and my daughter, we call ourselves the Vessey girls. Like we are the family. And so neither one of us no longer, this is a whole nother story too, we no longer look for family in other people because we know that we have it in us. And that's a whole different powerful.
And so once after people are asking you to cook, to cater, can I get some of those canned fill in the blank?
Yeah.
And you decide, okay, I'm actually in business and I didn't really know it.
Didn't have no clue I was in it. Didn't know what I was doing. I started Googling, like, how do you run a business in St. Louis, Missouri? I wish AI was a thing a few years ago because I'd probably be a lot further.
But when does gardening, or were you always gardening?
Now, gardening happened in Mexico, Missouri. I was a senior in high school. I was living on my own in my own little 420 East Bolivar project.
As a senior in high school?
Yeah, I actually got kicked out of home my junior year. So from junior year to senior year, I was living on my own in high school. And I remember having all of my credits, but if I didn't go to school, then I didn't eat. And I always knew that school was a place for me to get food. And I mean, I would get in good with the lunch ladies and be like, hey, I got some extra milk, or, whatever the case may be. But it started off taking a horticulture class because I had all my credits, and I grew an impatient flower. The first thing I've ever grew was an impatient flower. And I was like, man, I wonder if I could grow a tomato. And it was just up from there. And every year since then, I've been growing some type of food.
Is anybody else feeling the movie? Is anybody else? Because I am. The book and then the movie, or the movie and then the book, whatever order you take. Chef, whatever order.
I'm all for it.
Okay, because this is remarkable and amazing and all that. I do hear in your story as well. We talk about food justice, and it's still a term that people don't really understand, and some may not even think is real or relevant or necessary. You are an activist as well. What is food justice to you? What does that look like, having been in St. Louis, in the roles, I should say,
right,
plural,
right,
that you have now? What does food justice look like?
Access to food. There's not a lot of access to food. There's places that give you free food, but the access, how do the people get there?
And access healthy food.
Oh, that point.
Because you can get a fried whatever on almost every other block.
Exactly.
In the city.
Exactly. Yeah. And so for me, it was, how do I push something healthy out to the community? And that was important for me.
And this enters in then your work with a Red Circle, and you're on my list, Red Circle, to come on this podcast. Let me just say,
they would love to be here.
Been on my list a long time, honestly. But you are there. I think there's a promotion here, so I may be wrong in the title. Food and Farm Teaching Specialist.
Right. So I was a food farm specialist, but I am now the lead food farm specialist at a Red Circle. And what I do there is I teach food preservation classes. I do food to table events with groups of schools and youth. I do farm tours. This is a part of what my passion is teaching the community how to take power back when it comes to how they grow their food. Where does it come from? How to prepare it, how to make it last longer. So I teach the bread making classes, which is a super hit. I have a class coming up this Saturday. And that's just been through the roof. I can't believe how much people respond to making bread when I just make bread every day. I make my own bagels and everything, but to give them this power and then for them to call me back and say, Queenie, I can't even eat store-bought bread, or, I'm actually digesting this bread where before I wasn't. So I know what I'm doing is making an impact. And then I went even deeper and I wrote all these programs from scratch, okay? And I went deeper and said, let's get into canning and preserving, because that's really my sweet stuff right there. I just love to can. And they responded to that. And it just gives the students power. You should see the
And
people.
are they all ages?
Oh, so I only take 18 on up, just on the strength of capacity. I can take 5 students at a time. But the good thing is I'm seeing a lot more men come
Oh, I
into my
love that.
bed making
I
and
love
canning
that.
class, and they're just like really into it. And I just love, like, it's all kind of people. I mean, I've had black and white and Mexicans, and like people just want to know, how can I take this
Yeah.
power back? And I'm happy that I could do that.
And so this has been since the pandemic. So we certainly have a sense that the pandemic, because there was the sourdough starter craze.
Oh, yeah.
And some people still have their sourdough starter going. God bless you. I'm jealous.
We are well.
You And so that may have really impacted our desire to garden, because more people did, and our desire to make bread because more people did during the pandemic. But describe for us what a red circle does in the first place,
So,
and who they are.
when I have to explain who and what a red circle is, I always say that a red circle is a nonprofit that is hitting North County with a trifecta approach. We are coming with community wellness, we are coming with the arts department, and we're coming with the education department. We have children who are now in North County receiving IEPs, who are getting the counseling and getting the resources that they need. We have community members coming up to Pine Lawn every Tuesday and Thursday, walking the track. Their A1C1s coming down from 11 to 5.6. We have people who come by every Good Food Friday in Pine Lawn and pick up fresh produce, who are eating fresh organic produce for the first time, and we can't keep enough of it.
My goodness.
So who is a red circle? What is a red circle? Change. That's what they are. They are an organization.
Sounds
yeah,
like.
yeah, and that's like just a little bit
Yeah.
of what a red circle. Like a red circle, y'all got to get here. Erica Williams, I'm calling you
I
out.
know,
You're
Erica.
next. You're next.
Dr. Erica
okay,
Williams.
yeah, there you go.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah,
and she's mentioned IEP, just the individualized education plan.
Yeah.
Both of my students, because they had speech issues, had IEPs and had speech therapy in class. And so that's what that is. So
Yeah.
students who may, and a variety of educational issues that a district will say, let's focus on this and help them. Whether it is
Exactly.
dyslexia, or it could be a variety of
It
things.
could be a lot of things,
Yeah.
and a lot of our children in North County specifically, they're just underserved and
Yeah.
and
And forgotten and left behind.
yeah,
and-
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
exciting to hear that our education department is making a difference, where these kids are now being heard. Parents are actually being heard, like, hey, I know something is going on, but I don't have the skills. So they're providing those type of resources.
And
for
because
them.
sometimes in our community and in educational settings, parents are made to feel and students are made to feel there's something wrong with you. And it's a negative perception. And my sister-in-law is a retired teacher, 40 plus years as an elementary school educator, and has talked a lot to me about parents resisting even having an IEP because of what the perception then becomes of their child. And so they do not want their child to be treated in a negative way. And so then they miss out on the services.
And the services are so amazing. My
And they're
daughter,
necessary.
yeah, my daughter is
Yeah.
on her third year in college, and she still has an IEP. And I had to have a talk with her, like, this isn't a bad thing. We advocated for you, and now you're going
Right.
to get everything you need.
Absolutely.
And now
And
she's,
deserve.
yeah, and she's like, Mom, I got longer testing time. I'm like, I know. So if I have to say anything in regards to parents like that, just because your child might need an IEP does not mean they need medicine. It doesn't mean that they're bad, that
They're broken.
They're broken.
Yeah.
No, they just have a different learning style, and we should be supporting that.
Speaking of broken, a lot of us went through the May 16th tornado, and it broke something for some, and it broke open again. I don't know if it's ever been hidden that North County for all of these decades has been disinvested in. And so you went out after the tornado right away or pretty soon thereafter?
I went right away. So the day that it happened.
And what did you do? Yeah, go
okay.
ahead.
The day that
it happened.
I was at work at the Little Red Barn House at the Community Wellness Center in Pine Lawn, and my team we were setting up for Good Food Friday, and we're all sitting there still working. Like, my team do not play. Shout out to my team. We do not play. So we were still working, trying to get these bags of fresh produce together, and the storm comes. We're hearing the sirens. We're just like, we're just going to buckle down and hang down in the house. So and then after the tornado goes over, people are showing up for this fresh produce.
Right.
Because they're hungry. And I'm like, man, we had a tornado. And these people still came out because they were hungry. It just touched my heart. And so as I'm sitting there preparing Good Food Friday, I'm done. I'm winding down for the day. Our team, we're all making sure we're all getting home. And I was just sitting there and I started seeing the videos and I started seeing the people. And I just was like, this is no way happening to St. Louis.
It was so traumatic.
It was so traumatic. And everyone said, my dad was calling from Lockport, Illinois, whatever you do, don't go over there. My Aunt Debbie, Niecy, are you okay? And y'all, I'm fine. And I was hard-headed. I went over there.
I was going to say, your daddy know who he talking to.
I went over there and I was like, I got to do something.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to Tony TNT, shout out to him. He has a urban farm in the Ville. And I remember telling him, like, I want to do something. I want to be able to feed the community. And I remember him welcoming me into the Ville, into the neighborhood, introducing me into some of the community people. And I'm like, I got it. I'm going to do 1,000 meals. I'm going to feed 1,000 people. And I'm not just going to feed them anything. They're going to get gourmet food from the experience. They're going to get whatever I would feed a client, a customer. Oh, they're going to get that with a cherry on top. And I went on the mission. And I remember Erica Williams at the time, she was on vacation, which she rarely takes. She was on vacation. And I asked permission for no one. I was like, I am making these meals. Like, these meals are going to be made. And so when I put an all cow out there, because the first 100 meals I did on my own, I'm just going to make a bunch of salads and I'm going to make wraps. And I started doing that. And then I'm like, that's not enough. And I remember the second time I went to deliver the meals, that's when I realized that they needed more than just salad. They needed to feel home and love. And then that's when I made chicken and dumplings. And I made 200
Wait a minute, the kind
cups.
with the crust on the top or a soup-like?
It's soup-like with homemade dumplings and homemade pressed pasta, because I make my own pasta as well, the noodles. So I gave them all the love I could possibly give them. And
I'm going to need some of that love.
yeah, and I got you.
Simon, I need chicken and dumplings from Queenie.
Yeah.
Simon
so
is our audio technician.
Yeah, I mean, he left away with some goodies too. I don't know what I think I gave them pickles yesterday. I always bring goodies and food no matter where I go.
I love it. So then you do 100 and you realize
I gotta feed. I
need
need more.
Needed help,
and I needed help.
Yeah.
So I then said, hey, I put on social, like, hey, you guys, I'm trying to do 1,000 meals, and people started reaching out to me and say, Queenie, oh my gosh, we love what you do. We wanna pour into you. And I had my girl Chef Rona, who was like, Queenie, I'm right behind you. What you need? She started reaching out to Green,
Chef Rona
STL. Tall.
She's young.
Yeah. She has long hair.
Locks, right? No?
No, I don't know
okay.
if it's locks. I don't know if it's locks.
I know who you are. I know who you are.
She is something to know too.
Yeah. Okay.
But she came to me.
She comes
to
you
me. She's giving me, like, Queenie, I'm connected with STL Machine Green, which is another nonprofit that are growing tower greens, and they were giving me fresh greens. I'm talking arugula. I'm talking basil and different types of salads, and I just went to town with it. So I used whatever I had. Then there was other organizations that were saying, hey, young lady, we was waiting for you. What you need? And then they started bringing me stuff, and just the community kind of just came around me and was like, we behind you. Like, and then I said, I don't want to just wrap this stuff up and give it to the community. I want biodegradable stuff to package this food up, because they're already hurt. I don't want to be leaving plastic and more stuff on top of So I thought, let's go biodegradable. And when I made that shift, people still stood behind me. Due to my health, I was having to, slow down, and then some technical things behind the scene where I wasn't able to complete my 1,000 meals, but I do believe I got up to like 780, 800. I think I got somewhere up in there, and they know me. I would go over there.
780 more than most people.
Yeah, and they were like, Chef Queenie, we know you got some good. What you got today? And I mean, I was feeding them tacos, wraps, chicken and dumplings, fried rice. I was feeding them just all the things that I know made me happy and made me warm. Homemade biscuits, went out and gravy.
And you're fully aware, this is not you coming in with a backhoe or a dump truck. You're not clearing trees or rescuing people, but you are rescuing people.
And
you're providing for the soul.
And I didn't know that. And a lot of people were like, Queenie, like, you're not from here. Like, you just can't be going down into the hood and like, but I took my 2009 Enclave down there. I loaded it up with all that food, And I went down there with hand sanitizers, napkins, and a beautiful smile, and I served my people.
And
my
you were
people
never afraid.
No, and I was never afraid. Now, I grew up with my mom being like in the streets. So I know what crackheads look like. I know what prostitution looks like. I know what pimps look like. I know what drug dealers look like.
And you know danger when
And
you
I
see
know
it.
danger when I
Yeah.
see it. And I'm a trained sharpshooter. So there's that.
Well, this girl done buried the... wait. You know, let me just say this to you, listen, St. Louis with Carol Daniel viewers. It never fails. Some people come in here and I have their whole bio and they leave stuff off. that you left that off.
Indeed. There's so much about me that
The movie.
it will be a series. You know,
Okay.
I was talking to Leah, and Leah was like, I think this could be a
Leah
series.
Gullett, our producer.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it is. And to be honest, I've been tucked away and quiet in St. Louis for a long time.
You've just been doing your thing.
I've been doing my thing, but
Yeah.
I've also been healing. When I moved here in St. Louis in 2004, I do spoken word poetry and motivational speaking. I could do poetry at the drop of a hat. I don't practice. I don't rehearse. I can just go from off the top of my dome about
And that's
anything.
a part of your healing.
And that's a part of my healing. And so I remember opening up at a concert at the pageant. I was drugged and gang raped, and I was left with a child, and that is why I'm a mother.
my
I never
Lord.
wanted kids, and that would be another story
That
of her
is-
finding out her truth. And I've just been healing after leaving a long relationship that wasn't healthy for me. I've just been healing. And I used to say, man, I can't wait to leave St. Louis. They hurt me so bad. I've been attacked here before. I've almost been robbed here. Y'all left me with a child I didn't ask for. And I fell in love with St. Louis, not because of the city and all the trinkets and the free stuff. It was the people.
Yeah.
I fell in love with the people. And as I began to tell my story, I realized they needed me. I've met so many
Back to
young
that
girls
light.
who had the same story as me. Or I've heard parents say, my child still doesn't know. How did you have the courage to tell her?
They were
And
also rape victims.
They were
Their child does
also,
not know.
yeah, and their child
Wow.
don't know. And that was the biggest fear, that someone else was going to tell my daughter our story before I could tell the story. And I did sit down with her, and we did have this confession. The man that raised her as her father was not her father. And I thought she would be angry. I thought she would hate me. And she said, thank you. Mama, thank you for keeping me, because I wouldn't have kept me. Going what you went through. And that is when the floodgates of my healing began. And I've just been healing and forgiving myself and growing, unlearning so much stuff, that I am not a bad person.
Right.
I am not.
It wasn't your
Yeah,
fault.
it wasn't my fault. Like, girl, I'm so free now. I'm so free. I sit up in my house, in my garden, in my little rocking chair, and I can't believe I've gotten to a place of safety and of being free. And people love me and people appreciate me. Not having a lot of family and growing up with family, I realized that my community is my family. Where else can I go but St. Louis?
And they showed up for you.
And they showed up for me.
They always show up for
They
you.
show up for me, my farming community, my block in Ferguson, because I live in Ferguson now, which everyone was like, Queenie, you moved to Ferguson? I love that small town. I love that small town
It's
real bad.
beautiful.
It is and my street, Ellsworth Place, is the best street ever. I could tell y'all I live on Ellsworth Place, because you're not going to come over there playing. Not with my neighbors. Like, my neighbors are really neighbors. Like, they care about me. When they seen PBS pull up, I had 100 phone calls. What is going on? Are you okay? One woman came down there and was like, well, who are you? And I'm like, Miss Betty. Calm down. Like, this is a good positive thing. And we just all look out for each other, or each other's children, and it's family. And I've never felt so loved being in Ferguson around my neighbors, because
Wow.
when I say my trunk be open or I might leave the door open, I am not concerned, because somebody is going to take care of that, and me as well. I walk up and down the street with my little basket, and I give out fresh produce. Whatever I have in my garden, I give it to them. It's to the point now, Miss Betty bring me squash. She don't even eat it; she just grow it. So
I love it. I love
so
it.
it's
And I
that.
love that for you. I do want to talk too about the canning and the bread specifically. But we had a wonderful live podcast at the Missouri Historical Society, the History Museum, celebrating Juneteenth. And the food historian, Dr. Tandra Taylor from SIUE, was there, and she talked about Africans being forced to labor in this country, the formerly enslaved, the enslaved and the formerly enslaved. use the knowledge of who we were in Africa as an agricultural people, use that to do what we have done in this country. And so I do hear you talking about a return. And it's not just a return to the 1940s. This is a return to the continent.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Every seed I plant is for that very specific reason. We got to go back home, y'all. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying in the sense that we got to get on a boat and travel. We got to go back home to the things that has made us who we are today. And if that means canning and preserving the culture, then that's what that means. If that means baking the culture so that we can rise, that is what that means. When I am in the kitchen and I am teaching, every single time a student looks up to me in awe, I know that seed has been planted.
Yeah.
And we went back home. Every student that comes through that door, I get to take them back home to the beginning, to the roots of it all. And that's magical all by itself.
And it's so sad to me, and I want you to react to this notion that, y'all just eat fast food. The poor and fast food, or poor Black people and fast food, or rural poor people and what some would call fake food. This is not our foundation at all. And this is a very recent predicament that we find ourselves in, but a devastating one.
It wasn't one that we didn't wake up eating that. I mean, I remember smelling hot water cornbread on the stove. I don't remember smelling McDonald's.
Do you know, I still, because there was a time here recently that you could get, not recently, maybe 10 years ago, a packet and make hot water cornbread. And I can't find it anymore.
I mean, you probably wouldn't want it because it's probably made with so many different types of chemicals and preservatives.
So before you leave, you're going to give me a from scratch hot water cornbread recipe.
From scratch.
Because I grew up, and early in my marriage, I was making my husband hot water cornbread.
Yeah. So for me, I hate that is attached to us as a culture because we just didn't grow up with that. Like, even my daughter, she's going to be 21. She'll know off the top, Mom, I want some Chinese food. Okay, I'm about to go pull out my wok, and we're going to make it at home.
Yeah.
So this has always been our culture. Unfortunately, the ball was dropped. I don't want to say and blame it on a certain generation, but I'm getting women who are coming in about 45, 50 and saying, oh, girl, my mama used to can and make bread all the time. And I said, well, why don't you? She never taught me. I couldn't even be in the kitchen.
Can I tell you my why?
What? Tell me why.
Although I did grow up trying to make bread from scratch, and my mother let me do that. But I distinctly remember my mother telling me, because a lot of us had moms who were stay-at-home moms. My father was in the military. My mother was a stay-at-home mom. And she did not want me in a domestic. She did not want me. She wanted me, in her words, I want you to be able to stand on your own. And it was a reflection of her maybe frustration or disappointment that she was, in her words, just a housewife.
Now, see, to me, that makes sense.
And I think that's why it happened for a lot of us.
Yeah, see, that makes sense. And it's just like, man, I don't even know. Like, I picked the ball up, but I'm just like, what made you stop? Like, your kids don't even know how to cook now. Like, I have a lot of adults who come into the classes, they don't even know how to cut. Like, they scared to boil water. And I'm like, what happened? And what it was the world.
We just thought a professional life.
Yeah. You know,
I need to make money.
And that's what it is.
I'm not going to be a wife. A stay-at-home wife. I could be a wife, but not a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah,
so that's the disconnect, I think.
To be a stay-at-home mom and to be a stay-at-home wife, where you can really focus on cooking and, you know, making your home a house a home. That is so rare. That's so rare because you need two incomes to survive in this world, you know?
Yeah.
So I could see where it would be hard. I'm just still honored and proud that I have the sauce, I have the seeds, and I'm willing to spread the sauce and plant the seed.
And there is a desire. There's a desire to go back, to actually do these things and learn, not to mention because eating out is expensive.
It's expensive. I find myself, people don't ever take me out to eat. Y'all can take me out to eat, y'all. But people never take me out to eat, or they never cook. They never cook for me because, number one, if I ever go out to a restaurant and I taste something that I'm just like, oh, this is amazing, I'm probably not going to come back, but I promise you I'm going to go home and execute
I am
it.
the same way.
I execute it and I keep it moving. So I
Yeah.
could cook Italian, Brazilian, Jamaican, African, you name it, I can cook it. And I love anything Mexican. I could just cook it. I just know how to cook it.
And the other reason you don't go out to eat is because
It's not healthy.
Yeah.
I don't know where all of the ingredients are coming from. There's so many recalls on fresh vegetables. I realize a lot of people are getting vegetables from out of the country when there's so many farms here in the United States of America. And so that's hard for me. And I'm more responsible now, not only just as a chef, but I used to be 400 pounds. I'm down to like 190. So for me, I'm very careful about where I source my food from. And that's why I farm. I farm my butt off every year. I'm even growing cotton. I'm even growing cotton in the backyard, Brussels
And
sprouts.
what are you going to do with the cotton?
Well, I make my own tampons.
I am done with you. I am done. I do not want to talk to you anymore.
I desire to live on land, 1,000 acres of land, and homestead with my future husband, and cook and clean and take care of my community, and eventually have a free grocery store. So,
when did you start making bread, by the way, and why? I love fresh bread.
So I am obsessed with bread, and I realized that it wasn't processing through my body correctly. Like that and beef just wasn't processing. I'm like, why is it not working? I said, well, why don't you just make your own bread, Queenie, and just see what that does. I made my own bread and realized, well, you could put probiotics in it. You could put flaxseed, and it started coming out regularly.
And are you using bread flour, or what are you using?
So I'm using bread flour, and
Okay.
there's so many different type of bread
There's
flours.
so many flours.
You're gonna have to come and take bread making class.
and will.
And there are a lot of different flours, but my favorite flour is a bread flour, because I do make a lot of bagels and pizza crust and stuff like that. But there's so many different types of flours. So if you make your own bread, you can do a gluten flour, a 1-to-1 flour, a 0-0 flour, a wheat flour. It's endless of what you can do when you're making your own bread.
Yeah.
And so that's why I love the bread making class. So if you have an allergy, don't worry about it. I got a flour for you.
Absolutely. My late father, who passed 2 years ago, was canning like nobody's business. Usually fruit, peaches, apples, and he would give them to us, and I never sat with him. And he started canning late in life. Now, he grew up in Mississippi.
It was
on
his
a
lifestyle.
farm.
He just went
was a
back to it. He
lifestyle.
picked it back up.
He picked it back up. And so we would just, get it from him. I didn't learn from him. So that's another class of yours that I want to take. But talk to me about
that. We'll love to have you.
Yes. When did you start canning, and why?
I started canning, man.
In your 20s?
I would say in my 20s I was
Okay.
canning, and I probably wasn't doing it right because I was self-teaching myself, and everyone's scared of the word botulism. Let me say it, botulism. But if you take my class and follow the rules, you will not have to worry about that. And so I did start in my 20s just playing around with pickles. I'm a pickle fanatic, so I would make pickles, and I would pickle my peppers, and I love all kind of peppers. So I would make peppers and stuff like that, and then it got to the point where it's like, I ain't got a lot of money. I need to store up for the winter. I need to make some groceries. So as I started farming more and growing more in different type of food, I just started preserving them and pickling them. So in my cellar, you're gonna see big jars of like dry good rice and garbanzo beans, and you'll see every type of herb that there is, and then you'll see like hot pepper jelly, barbecue sauce, apple butter. It's just so much that I just prepare for it. When the world shut down, I didn't have to go scrounge around anywhere. I went to my cellar and I ate. I had everything that I need. And I'm such an old school vintage girl that I pride myself in making groceries. People laugh at me all the time, like, Queenie, what you mean? I'm going to my garden to go make some groceries. And I just want more households to be that empowered and be able to go in their backyard and go get those tomatoes and get those jalapenos. People buy pickles. Like, they're obsessed. St. Louis loves pickles, okay? They love pickles in so many different flavors and ways.
Yeah.
So I'm just shocked on why a lot of
don't just
St.
make
Louis
'em.
ain't growing cucumbers.
Yeah.
Every St. Louiser should have at least one cucumber plant the way they love to make pickles.
I have another admission for you, Chef.
Oh,
and
goodness.
that is, well, my husband is a landscaper.
Okay.
And we have a garden. He's from the Virgin Islands. His mother has her whole backyard is a garden. And so he has been growing. And I would say to him all the time, can I meet with the farmer first and we decide what we plant? Because I would be the one cooking it, right? And so
you wanted to be the farm manager. Okay.
Hey, yes.
Oh, crap. I gave her a title.
But apparently I'm a terrible. I have not been given the position. And so he just goes and plants whatever. And then I know what's growing when he brings it and puts it in the kitchen.
He's a rebel farmer.
He's a rebel.
That's
all
who
these titles.
Yeah, that's me. I'm a rebel farmer.
So the cucumbers have been coming upstairs.
Okay.
And they are plentiful.
And you're doing what with those?
They are sitting on the island waiting to be made into pickles because I do love pickles. And so I haven't. So
you haven't done that
class
yet.
number 3.
We're going to have to give her a membership at this point.
Is there a membership?
There isn't, but stay tuned.
There should be a membership. Lots of St. Louisans are gardening, and a lot of us, a lot of you all, get a bountiful crop of something and don't know what to do with it.
Like Miss Betty is growing squash but doesn't eat it. I mean, what are you doing? Like, at least grow what you eat, and I take it faithfully. Yeah. But yeah, people just got to start planting the seed. And there's a lot of organizations that will let you come and learn for free. We got Haru. Tyran with Haru Farming. We got Nixby with Ujima and the George Washington Carver. We got a Red Circle in about 3 spots. We got Tony TNT. We got Janet at Rustic Roots. We got...
Who just got a great grant.
Yes, congratulations. Yes. And we have Antoine at New Roots Farm. He's down in the city right there, and he gives away free...
What do all these... And we don't have to talk a lot about this, but because both of my parents grew up on farms, I grew up going to my grandparents' farms. But the black farmer, and this is documented, this is adjudicated. These are real cases where black farmers were discriminated against by the federal government, by the USDA, and in a variety of means. Excuse me, land was taken.
Lots of land taken.
Lots of land was taken, and so the number of black farmers that did exist is a very minor number compared to what once was. And that's why it's so fascinating to me, and so I'm so happy that there are those in the city. I'm glad that all of y'all are farming. But based on the history, the very real history, argue with your mama, that's what they say, right? The very real history that black farmers were purposely eliminated. So now we're trying to reclaim this. That's one reason I'm so excited. The health of it all, the empowerment of it all, the control, the reclaiming of our history.
Yes.
This is what is so exciting to me. What do all the black farmers that you know have in common, do you think?
I feel like you said that we're trying, but we are doing it now. The farmers are doing it. What they all have in common is that I feel like me, they want to pick up the ball and pass it over to the generation. When I go out to Phi Global Farm with Farmer Mitch, he reminds me and teaches me every day how important it is for me to teach everything that I learn. And I feel like that's every farmer that I go to, they all want to teach you something. If I go down there to Antoine, he's going to have me holding rabbits and telling me about the rabbit poop and what it could do. If I go to Tony, he's going to tell me how important it is that the Ville has fresh organic produce. And they don't just talk about it, they're doing the work. Yeah. They are really out here growing food from scratch. There's not enough grant money, that's for sure. There's not a lot of people who are aware of how important it is to grow and to plant and to be in agriculture.
We need more.
I graduate culinary school from Forest Park in May, and I want to continue my education in agriculture, but there's no agriculture classes that I could take. I can get an associate's degree, but I can't advance and take real farming and agriculture classes here in St. Louis at all. I would have to go to Illinois. I would have to go to SEMO to continue in agriculture. So I want to bring it back to where kids grow up and say, you know what, I want to be a sharecropper. You know what, I want to be a farmer. I want to, learn about agriculture science. There's so much in agriculture, even AI and social media, all the things that people want to do now, you can still do that in agriculture. And we need more people having careers in it so that we can start getting it as a degree that could be obtained at Washington University.
I believe you could also go to Lincoln University, but again, that's Jefferson City.
Yeah, and I've been to Lincoln University. I went to the Black Farmers Conference, and I met a lot of cool people from all over. And that's what they told me. Like, are you willing to move to Jeff City?
Yeah,
are you willing to
yeah.
move? And I'm like, I'm not done loving on my city yet.
Absolutely. And when you say sharecropper, if sharecropping was done right and lawfully, people would have been paid for their. Yeah. So You, that's not a bad thing.
Right.
The terminology is not a bad
terminology.
thing. It's just that people were cheated.
Yeah.
So many were cheated.
So many were cheated.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer in turning that negative thing positive. You know what I mean? And, you know, a lot of people say, Queenie, my family, when I first started gardening and farming and getting into a lot of these things and like killing my own chickens and learning how to preserve and stuff like that, I remember them saying, "Girl, that's that white people stuff. You always doing some white people stuff." And I'm like, when did it become white people stuff? And when did black people, like, what?
It's a lie we were told.
Yeah, and
this is not for you. But
Yeah.
No, this is for you.
This is exactly
Yeah.
this is a gift that keeps giving.
And again, going back to the continent,
yes, this is who we are, and
you
our
are
soul. Like,
a villager.
please understand that what she said, because that's really what it is. So to just get people.
So you're still battling perception.
I am battling
Yeah.
perception, and then it doesn't help that I'm a black girl from Iowa. It doesn't help that I'm very articulate and I dress and I carry myself as a lady. And this is how I fish. This is how I farm.
This is how you fish?
This is how I fish. Oh,
I
honey.
love it.
Oh, I fish in a dress. I wear a dress just about every day. If not, then I wear a very beautiful silk muumuu. I'm a queen. My name is Queenie. I used to hate my name. My name.
Now you embrace it.
But now, man, I almost wore the crown. I didn't know if I wanted to wear the chef hat or the crown. I just didn't know which one I wanted to roll out.
I don't know what I'm in love with more. I just don't know. But I think fishing with the pearls is something.
Oh, and that's
that
always
I can get with.
Yeah, I fishing with
Yeah.
the pearls. I garden with the pearls, and all of my coworkers and stuff would tell you, because Farmer Mitch says, "Did you come to farm, or what you come out here for?" And I'll go over there and start picking some okra.
All right, girl. It is so great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I have been looking forward to this.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank
it's
you.
not the last time, because apparently I'm taking bread making, canning. What was the other one?
We got some classes.
We got
lined up
some
for it.
classes.
We gonna get it taken care
We
of.
didn't even talk about the herbs.
Man,
learning
and
how to store herbs.
That's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother. Yeah,
And I'm working on that to bring that to a red circle as
because
well,
I
where
need
we
that
talk
as
about
well.
as dehydrating. What
because
else? What else do you
we got a
need?
list. My failed farm manager.
Yeah.
Job.
I want you to land that position.
With the rebel farmer who's growing all kind of stuff. I need to
love
learn
it.
how to store it and keep it.
That's your job. so.
Sometimes these conversations are really for me. They have nothing to do with y'all. Queenie, thank you so much and congratulations
thank
on
you.
all of your success.
Thank
and
you.
thank you for what you're doing to return us,
Yes.
return us all
Yes.
to a way of life that is much more healthy.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you for allowing me to be
There's
your
a basket
chef.
down here, though.
There is a basket.
What did you bring me?
So my first year of growing garlic, I decided to grow some garlic, and I brought you my first harvest.
Love it.
I hate to get rid of these pickles. I don't know if they're going to get taken care of or not. But I brought you some organic pickles. And then I have some apple jelly that I made from scratch.
I love apple
that
jelly.
tastes really good on some homemade biscuits. So you can whip that up for you and your rebel farmer.
my rebel
But yeah, I just wanted to make sure everyone that encounters me, they leave with a belly full, they leave with their soul lighter, and they leave with some type of goodies.
That's the way to end it right there.
Right.
You. Thank you so much, Chef Queenie. And thank you for joining us for this very exciting and educational episode of Listen St. Louis with Carol Daniel. At the beginning, I forgot to give you your instructions, so I will give them to you right now. Number one, do not forget to subscribe, my friends. That way you are alerted to when new podcasts are dropping. And then like the podcast as well. Management does look at those numbers, and they are reported at various meetings. Viewership is reported, so let's all make ourselves look good, shall we? And then leave your comments. We love to read those. We thank you so much for supporting us in this effort as we try to change the narrative, and that is the story we tell ourselves about ourselves. Like she said, we're light and we're supposed to shine. Thanks again for joining us on Listen St. Louis with Carol Daniel on 9 PBS.
Listen St. Louis with Carol Daniel is supported in part by Midwest Bank Center, the Betsy and Thomas Patterson Foundation, and Orvin and Latrice Kimbrough.